Hello, everybody. Guess what, man? We still at it. We still at it. Like, that's what's up. All right, so this right here is, I want to think, what, episode 6 now? Like, man, wow, this shit's rolling on. Right? Another episode of Versus. You know what I'm saying? This time we got something that I think has been really debated over, like, the last couple of years, especially as of late. I've seen a couple of things on the internet where a few people had this same discussion, so I felt like why not address it on Versus, right? And like I said, I mean, really, it kind of started like as boom, we was just thinking of like a bunch of like the top black actors, like you know what I'm saying, like we would think like who's like one of the top black actors of all time and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? The two names kept coming up the most, and that really kind of what started the groundwork for this particular episode. So, without further ado, we're going to get into verses. Today's episode is Samuel Jackson versus Denzel Washington. This one should be fun. Can't wait. Welcome to Versus.
Something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there.
Nah, I definitely agree with that shit. Damn, Beretta, man. Fuck. Bro, I know you got bicycle, man, but you gotta think sometimes. Shit. Some of this shit don't even call for. Bro, I was talking to my suckers, I'm the only one who listen, mirror on the wall. Who the realest nigga in it?
Alright, so first of all, let me start with Denzel, right? A lot of people don't even realize this, right? But Denzel actually kind of got a good start, especially back in like I think it was early 90s. Like he got a real big help from the up and coming record label that would be known to be called Death Row. Like, don't believe me? Look it up. You know what I'm saying? Shit, it was a lot of shit that happened when they was just first kind of starting it up. They was getting their hands and all kind of shit. It was actually called something else back then. Death Row hadn't really got to be Death Row, but it was damn, what's the dude's name? Michael. I can't think of his name. Michael Harris. Harris, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Check that out. Big time dude, you know what I'm saying? He was one of the real like founders, like really financially of like the whole start of Death Row. Gave Suge a bunch of money, but his view for it was the entertainment enterprise. Like I said, like music was just one part of it, and like one of those parts was like show business, music, movies, and like Broadway plays, stage shits like that. And one of the up and coming stars that they found, Giffen, I think it was Giffen, some shit. Like I said, I had to go and like you know what I'm saying, make sure that I get those names accurately. But I'm just telling like the origin story, like you know what I mean. But one of those actors was this guy named Denzel Washington. You feel me? Like, hey, look it up. You don't believe me, but it's real. I was like, whoa. So he came up with these gangster ass motherfuckers. Anyway, they did a lot of funding, and like I say, when his um talent and his acting skills was brought to any fucking thing, like whether it be on the stage or whatever. I mean, it was only a matter of time before like he blossomed into a star. Now, as far as acting, like what I want to kind of compare them on a level of, first of all, the different roles, like what kind of range they got, like how big were they movies, how box office are they, like you know what I'm saying, um, and how well they perform consistently, like you know what I'm saying, like consistently, and their longevity or whatever. So based on those things, I would say this: I've not seen really a bad Denzel Washington movie. You know what I'm saying? And I will say he emerges himself in a character, and he plays it like wow. I will give him that. Like he really puts himself in that particular role, and a few of them that kind of just stand out off the top of my head as I'm kind of reflecting back on it. I mean, obviously, you know what I'm saying, Training Day is going to be one that comes up, but when I think of things like, you know what I mean, Manchurian Candidate and stuff like that, it's like some of those he kind of like really owned it, you know what I mean? with that being said, is like he has a stage presence that commands like your attention. You know what I'm saying? It's like even with like Malcolm X, you know what I'm saying? He was able to like, cause if you look at him, like this nigga doesn't look nothing like Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is like different, his complexion and all of that. But he sold the role in a way that by the time you watch the movie, like you know what I'm saying, like he convinced you that's Malcolm X. So that to me requires a lot of talent. You have to be a pretty good actor to pull that off. Now, when it comes to consistency, like I mean, like I said, this man has been doing this shit for how long? Like, think about how many box office blockbuster movies this nigga. Like, you see this nigga name in something, you know what I mean? You know it's gonna be a pretty big thing. And now that he's doing his directing, his movie production thing, is like he's really took it to a whole nother level. And based on just his charisma and popularity, and I think that has a lot to do with just his mystique. Cause I mean, like, you say Denzel Washington and like motherfuckers go crazy, like especially fucking women, man. It's like you know what I mean. Shit, I'm judging dude based on like his talent and like what he brings to a movie, but you talk to a female about him, it's like, god damn, you know what I'm saying? Like they can't control themselves. But you know, I'm not no hater, you know what I'm saying? To each his own, you know what I'm saying? Much respect to him, do what you do, you know, do what you do. But on the acting tip, I give him that, and he's definitely because a lot of times when this question comes up, that's the first name that people come up with. Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington. Like I said, I mean, Eddie Murphy and a few others was like right in the nigga woods, but I didn't hear as many names as often as Denzel and Samuel L. Jackson. Denzel Washington is obviously going to be a very popular pick just because of, like I say, the impact. Now, that's the other thing that I got to touch on too. The impact that he brings into a movie like that, you know what I'm saying? Like he can take a regular movie and bring so much impact to it to it's like, wow, colossal, you know what I'm saying? And he really owns his roles. Like, you know what I'm saying? He puts himself into it to where I'm convinced, you know what I mean? And it's like he doesn't just do any old bullshit movies. Like I said, I can't think of a bad Denzel Washington movie. I mean, it may be some. I'm not saying that there's not, but I'm just saying based on what I'm thinking of right now. So I would say as far as consistency, longevity, I would definitely give him that. You know what I mean? I can't take nothing away from him in that regard. So Denzel Washington definitely deserves to be within this debate, and it's really I wouldn't go against anyone that's picking Denzel for this particular topic. But with that being said, now let's talk about Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah. Now let me tell you motherfuckers something, right? First off, let me say this, right? When I do these shows, I'm doing these shits based on information that I've gathered, you know what I'm saying, based on what, I've seen, what I've like kind of picked up from others, like just talking to people just randomly or whatever. And I try to hold my personal opinions until like the end, you know what I'm saying? I try to go and give both sides, you know what I'm saying? They just dudes, right? This nigga Samuel L. Jackson, right? I think a lot of people be sleeping on this nigga Samuel. Cause for some reason, it's like you almost have to remind people like this nigga's almost in every fucking movie. Like, I mean, bro, this nigga's fucking like his legacy, his history, like his fucking cinematography, bro. Like that shit goes so fucking deep, bro. Like we didn't even touch on like his major shits, but just I want y'all to go and like look up how many movies this nigga is in. You know what I mean? We ain't even talking about like his movies where he was starting, just movies that he's just in. Like goddamn. But I do think a lot of people like kind of sleep on that. Now as far as him and his abilities, I want y'all to really think about this. Name a role that Samuel can't play or hasn't played. Like, I done seen this nigga be the good guy. I done seen this nigga be the villain. I done seen this nigga play a butler on fucking Django. Like, who's that nigga on that there? Like I've seen this nigga play scary roles. I've seen this nigga play serious roles. I've seen this nigga play comedy roles. Like the motherfucking Hitman's Bodyguard. Like this nigga's hilarious as fuck. And then this nigga's on so much shit that you just kind of forget that he was on that shit. Like Die Hard with a Vengeance. Like, you know what I'm saying? You feel me? And then Unbreakable, that whole thing with him and Bruce Willis. Like, he dude can do a lot, like, on a movie, you know what I'm saying? But I can't talk about Samuel Jackson without talking about Pulp Fiction. If you can name me another person who can cuss a bitch out better than Samuel Jackson, please tell me who. I'll sit here and wait for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, who else can cuss a bitch out better than Samuel Jackson? Like, I honestly, I'm gonna be so honest with y'all. It's like I watch like a lot of his movies. I don't even like to necessarily watch like a PG or PG-13 movie. I want to see a rated R movie just so cause I know he gonna cut somebody out. Like no matter what part is, they gonna make it the way he cusses somebody out in the movie. You know what I mean? Now I believe all of that started from motherfucking Pulp Fiction, like. Cause the whole line with the do they speak English and what? Like English motherfucker do you like bro that I mean like he has that range and seeing where he came from, like with what his struggles was before he became famous and how he was able to like maintain and like I said, I think he's so well like known and been in so many movies that people be forgetting that. Like think about it, you so used to seeing him in movies, so used to him being in movies to his commonplace. It's like you don't even regard it as the same as with Denzel because with Denzel it's an event. It's like, okay, wow, you know what I'm saying? Denzel got a movie coming out, boom, boom. Samuel Jackson is you so used to it to it's like that's just like okay, it's gonna rain today. You know what I'm saying? It's just something that happens. Like it happens frequently enough to where you're not shocked by it. You're not like in and out your seat about it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, the consistency level. This nigga was in Jurassic Park. You know what I mean? It's like his line of work goes on so far. And as far as me and trying to like judge him versus Denzel Washington, I just say this, right? It's no wrong choice, first of all. Let me say that. There is no wrong choice in the whole Denzel Washington versus Samuel Jackson. It really comes down to preference. It comes down to preference. But based on the guidelines that we've set, like as far as range and like all the different things, I honestly, like I said, I haven't seen a role, and I would challenge you viewers out there to find one that he hasn't played. Like find a particular role that hasn't been played in some way, form, or fashion by Samuel Jackson. Like I said, I've seen comedy, I've seen drama, I've seen suspense. Nigga that did romance movies. Nigga that did cartoons. You know what I'm saying? People forget like this motherfucker be in the superhero franchises. This nigga be in so much shit that it's ridiculous. Nigga played in Kite. You know what I'm saying? Like keep in mind, I'm a TV connoisseur, so I watch a lot of shit. You know what I mean? And Denzel Washington is a very great actor, but Samuel Jackson is like everywhere. You know what I mean? So when it comes down to like rating them just on the acting, it's like it's kind of like you know what I'm saying? Like it's a pickle really, but if you basing it on a certain criteria, it ain't a whole lot that Samuel Jackson don't like feel. You know what I'm saying? He checks all the box out. Don't get me wrong. Not to say Denzel Washington don't, right? But outside of Two Guns, I think it was, I don't see Denzel in a lot of like comedy movies. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't remember seeing Denzel like voice over like a cartoon character. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? It's just certain things that I just hadn't seen Denzel do. Not to say he can't. Now, I'm not trying to fucking imply that. I'm not saying that. I can't think of shit that I ain't seen this nigga Samuel do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't. You know what I'm saying? Because this nigga played the fucking Mr. Glass and Unbreakable like in a wheelchair the whole fucking time. You know what I'm saying? This nigga played Shaft. Like, you know what I mean? And all of these roles that I'm just like randomly throwing is just like what's popping off the top of my head. There's so many of them that I guess I probably should like wrote them down for the purpose of the show. But like the whole point is just to kind of like get y'all to kind of like think and like lubricate your minds on like where y'all will go from there. Like, and I get it that because he's so frequent in the movies, it's like it's not as, for lack of a better word to use, it's not as sexy as a Denzel. Like, cause I mean, you motherfuckers go crazy when you hear Denzel Washington. Oh man, Denzel. Like, and a lot of that comes down to like what happened is it's so like hyped up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like just the whole crowd and following the crowd and everybody so gassed up on it. So it's like that alone is gonna kind of carry Denzel's mystique. But Samuel, even though I don't feel like he gets that rah 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 like everybody gashing over him like Denzel does, he holds it down on almost every movie fucking been in. And he's been in so fucking many, like so fucking many. So when it comes down to quantity, that's not close. Like I love Denzel to death, but Denzel is not in as many movies as Samuel Jackson, and I dare a bitch to disagree with that. You know what I mean? Now, as far as acting, that's a pick 'em because they both can act, like they both like really embellish their roles. But I got a thought experiment for you guys, right? All the roles Denzel Washington has played in, like think of every single one, like list them up, like list them in a list or whatever. Every single role that Denzel Washington has played. Ask yourself, could Samuel Jackson have played that same role? Now, do that same experiment vice versa. Think of all the roles Samuel Jackson played and ask yourself, could Denzel Washington have played those roles? And it comes down to, let me answer this call, man.